I would like to welcome you to the August meeting of the Westfield, Washington Township Board of Zoning Appeals. And the first item of business is noting the presence of a quorum. Dean?
Ms. Fortier.
Here.
Mr. Hatfield.
Here.
Mr. Schmitz.
Here.
Mr. McCurdy.
Here.
Mr. Bowler.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next is consideration of minutes from last month's meeting, the July meeting. Those minutes have been circulated. We've all had the opportunity to review those. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything to bring up regarding the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for July 11th, 2023.
And I'll second that.
We moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the July 11th, 2023 BZA meeting. All those in favor, voice vote indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, Dane, if you could review the rules and procedures for tonight's meeting, which consists of 4 public hearings.
Yes, for all petitions, tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition and describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. Then the petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the board. The president will open a public hearing, and individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. Only one member of the group will be given 5 minutes to speak, and for efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard, and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to board members. The petitioner will then have a chance to respond to comments, and the board will follow with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. Please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time, but if you must answer them, please quietly exit the room. If you are attending in person and wish to speak in regard to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, once the public hearing is opened by the president, please approach the podium and write your name and address on the sign-in sheet next to Ryan. If you are not attending in person, comments regarding a petition should be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be then forwarded to board members and the petitioner. During your comments, please state your name and address into the microphone for the record, and we ask that you not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed, and you'll be advised when there is approximately 30 seconds remaining. We would like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so your comments can be put onto the record. Thank you.
Thank you. And let the record show for the consideration of the first 2 items on the agenda, Jeff Bowler will be recusing himself, correct?
That is correct.
So for the first 2 matters, so see ya. First item for our consideration is 2308 VU07 546 North Union Street, Jeff Bowler by WKRP Indy, requesting to reestablish an expiring variance of use that permits a low-intensity retail beauty salon use on a 1/4 acre in the SF3 district. And our staff planner on this petition is Dane.
Good evening, members of the board. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a request to reestablish an expiring variance of use that permits a low-intensity retail use, specifically a beauty salon, at 546 North Union Street, which is zoned SF3 single-family medium density. The variance of use to permit a beauty salon at this property was granted at the August 2007 BZA meeting. There were 11 conditions of approval for this variance, the 11th being that the variance would be considered null and void when the owner of record at the time ceases to own the subject property or operate a cosmetology business. As the owner is seeking to sell the property, a new variance is needed. After reviewing the 11 original conditions of approval, staff believes only 3 of those 11 conditions, along with 2 additional conditions, should be continued with this variance should the board be inclined to approve it. Reasons for determining the non-necessity of those conditions, along with suggested conditions of approval for this variance, are noted in the staff report. This item has been properly noticed and advertised, and the department has received no public comments. Kurt Weitzel, on behalf of the petitioner, is present this evening to give a brief presentation and will be available for questions afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Kurt? I guess I'm giving a presentation. Yep, got it now.
Kurt Whitesell with WKND Real Estate, 2929 East 186th Street is my address. I don't have a presentation. I'm here to answer any questions, but the goal of this is for Jeff Bowler to purchase the property and continue on or reestablish that variance that's on it. It's currently used as a salon, and he would like to also do that. That's it. So if there's any questions or details.
Thank you. And for either a petitioner or for staff, essentially, we're refining the conditions and we're making it a variance that's not tied to the ownership.
Correct.
Essentially what's happening, right?
Correct. There would be no sunset provision in this instance for the petitioner or if anything like that. So yeah, it would run in perpetuity with the property.
Okay. And Kurt, since you're there at the lectern, have you reviewed the recommended conditions?
I have, yes.
And those are, the petitioner's agreeable to those?
Yeah, there's nothing out of sorts on that.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:06. Do we have anyone that signed up to speak on this matter?
Not at this time.
Okay, we'll watch for electronic communication for the next few minutes. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this petition?
We have no emails.
I'll close the public hearing at 7:08. And thank you, by the way, Dane, for the comprehensive staff report dealing with all those conditions. That was very helpful to work through those the way you had. Comments, questions, anyone from the board have anything to interject on this petition? I will entertain a motion for this matter.
I move that we approve petition number 2308-VU-07 at 546 North Union Street under the following conditions. First, the proposed low-intensity retail use shall be limited to a beauty salon or a substantially similar use as determined by the Director of Community Development. 2, that any monument signage shall comply with the following. 1, monument sign shall be permitted for the business. The display area shall not exceed 16 square feet per face. The monument sign, including any base and cap features, shall not exceed 4 feet in height from grade. And finally, the monument sign shall not be internally lit. 3, that a 6-foot wood privacy fence be maintained in good condition along the southern property line. 4, a commercial dumpster and/or enclosures shall not be permitted on the property. 5, the existing primary structure on the property and/or any additional improvements to said primary structure must remain residential in character as determined by the Director of Community Development Department. And 6, that the petitioner recorded an acknowledgement of this approval with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department.
I'll second.
Motion by Noble, seconded by Janine to approve 2308 VU-07, subject to the 6 recommended conditions in the staff report. Dane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hatfield,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Ms. Fortier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I will make a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of 2308 VU-07.
Second?
Motion by myself, seconded by Victor, to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition. Voice vote, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Petition's approved. Next matter for our consideration is 2308 VU 08, 17808 Grassy Branch Road, Angela Gopinski seeking a variance of use to permit a nursery with a small plant-related retail component on 5.39 acres in an SF4 district. And Lauren Gillingham is our staff planner on this petition.
Thank you, Mr. President. So yes, as you mentioned, this is a variance of use to prevent a plant nursery. And my staff report mentioned a plant related retail component. Our public notice revised that to a low intensity retail component. That's how it's shown on the agenda. Very small difference. But the subject property is the former Shields Gardens, which was a plant nursery that operated both walk-in and retail sales for roughly 30 years. So from what I could tell was mid-'80s to mid-2010s. And although they existed for that time, we were unable to find any kind of variance legally permitting it. Very possible it could have been lost. But as a result, resuming that use thus requires a use variance. So the applicant does not plan to make any changes to the property as in the operation of her nursery, and has agreed to conditions aimed at maintaining the residential nature of the area. This item does require a public hearing tonight, which has been properly noticed and advertised. Staff has received 9 comments related to this petition. All of them were positive, which was something I've never seen before. And as always, you may find those comments in the exhibit I passed out earlier. Petitioner is here this evening, and I'm free to answer any comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela, do you have a presentation to make?
I don't have a presentation per se, but we are available to answer any questions. It is a very unique property, so we can understand that there may be questions towards that. It's been great to be able to work with Dr. Shields. He has since moved to assisted living in Carmel, but he has still been helping us throughout this process, and we appreciate that. And so if you all have any questions, we're mainly thankful for the neighbors that wrote in. That was really very kind of all of them. We got a lot of great support from the surrounding neighbors that just want to keep the property very similar to how it's been operating for the past several decades. So.
Yeah, I appreciate those comments from neighbors as well. Could you comment some on the anticipated level of traffic and parking that the business would generate?
Yes. So currently I have 2 businesses. I have a business on 226 Park Street, Route 31, a small plant business, and then I have a gift store on Jersey Street. Both of them, we see about 20 to 30 transactions a day on average. So fits that low intensity definition. We don't have much parking over on Park in Jersey. We do have about 4 to 5 spots on Jersey Street, and that's always sufficed with our traffic flow and with the amount of hours that we're open. So being open 8 hours a day, I think it allows for people to come and go, and we don't really have too much overlapping traffic. So this spot too, Dr. Shields has his garage, and then there's also a barn in the back by that large greenhouse in the very back there that also has a little bit of parking. So that would be nice for our staff to be able to park down there, to leave all the parking up front for people visiting.
So visitor parking would be off the driveway to the north of the building there.
Yes, all that paved area there.
How many cars would be able to fit there?
When we attended the open house for the property, there were about 18 cars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on the property there. We were surprised of how many they can fit, because he obviously added the paved spot there, and then paved alongside. And then right where the yellow line is, there is a gravel drive that goes all the way back to that larger greenhouse as well. You can kind of see it wrap around, but it kind of has since turned into more of a walking trail, and the drive kind of stops right behind that workshop and the largest greenhouse there.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of petitioner before we open the public hearing?
Doesn't really have, I guess, anything to do with this, but mentioning the other two properties, will you be retaining, this is just curiosity, retaining those as well or moving fully out there?
The goal, great question. The goal would be to be able to move both businesses to this location, which is what's really nice, is currently I grow my plants at another facility as well. So this property allows for all of us to kind of do this on this one space.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
So this would replace the two that are downtown?
yes, sir.
Anything else, anyone? I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:16. We have the public comment that's been provided already. Do we have anyone who's signed up?
No.
Okay. And we'll give it a minute or two and see if anything electronic comes in.
I will say, for what it's worth, when we had our pre-filing for this meeting, city engineer was, Public Works Director John Nail was in that meeting too, to determine the level of traffic as a concern, and he had no concerns with the current business model, with any sort of improvements to Grassy Branch. If this business were to add additional elements to it, like a coffee bar or a larger retail component, that's when we may have to revisit it. But the city engineer was in that meeting, and he has no issues with the current proposal and the current level of traffic, just for what it's worth.
Okay, thank you. Jim, you?
Good evening. Anytime you can give a public comment, it's always good, I think, as long as you keep it good. Dear friends and servants of the Westfield, Washington Township Board of Zoning Appeals, I want to thank you, first of all, for your service to Westfield and to our beautiful Washington Township. Many times your acts of dedication and service are overlooked, and I want to acknowledge you and thank you for your service this evening and for the good work that you do for the city and for the township. Tonight, I'd like to enter my letter of endorsement to the proposed petition for the variance of use of the current property at 17808 Grassy Branch Road. This beautiful piece of property has been the Shields family homestead for many years. This property was beautifully maintained by the Shields family for 35 plus years and was a regional meeting place for daily customers, Clivia customers, that's a plant, and many other unique species of unusual and assorted plants and trees. Many of these special plants are on the property, and the desire of Angela, my beautiful daughter, is to maintain what Mr. Shields has spent a lifetime creating. This place is very special to Westfield and should be preserved and enhanced by Angela and her two Westfield businesses named Route 31, doing business on Park Street, and Remedy, doing business on Jersey Street. These two will plan to move to the new unique property. In my search as a plantsman of Mr. Shields' licensed and patented daylilies, which he was known for, he personally hybridized and named 25 of those varieties after having Westfield in their name. The goal is to protect and to preserve these species if possible. Angela and her husband Paul have worked very hard and have started two businesses in Westfield since moving back to town. Their plan is to combine these two businesses on this special property for the public to enjoy. What a great opportunity to have children who grew up in Westfield to come back home and build local businesses in the town that they were born. Now their next step is to develop and maintain this piece of property and buildings and greenhouses. Sometimes the best land use is what the land has been used for previously. This hidden gem of a property can be a great gathering place for what Westfield used to be, and will be surrounded by a peaceful and park-like setting, surrounded by colorful, seasonal plantings. Westfield will be blessed to have a place like this. I support the opportunity to give Angela a variance of use to run her local businesses on this property, and a yes vote will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, did you state your name and address for the public record?
No, I did not. I just assumed that you knew.
I
but
did.
You should never assume. I'm Jim Gopinski. I live at 730 North East Street, and I do business at 2621 East 186th Street in Westfield.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak on this matter? I assume we've got no electronic communication?
Correct.
Great, I'll close the public hearing at 7:21. Angela, one question for you that I failed to ask when you were at the lectern earlier. There are 7 recommended conditions in the staff report. Have you had the opportunity to review those, and are you agreeable to all those? Should they be
Yes.
offered? Okay,
Yes.
great, thank you. Anyone else, any questions?
Did you get your passion for plants from your dad?
I don't know what gave that away, but yes.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion for consideration of this petition.
I'll make a motion to approve 2308-VU-08 17808 Grassy Branch Road. There are 7 recommended conditions. Business hours shall be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Retail items shall be limited to floral products and related retail items, including but not limited to pots, plants, accessories, cards, small gift items, etc. Parking shall only be on surfaced parking areas. All temporary events shall comply with the applicable Article 618 temporary uses and events standards. The existing primary structure on the property and/or any additional improvements to said primary structure must remain residential in character as determined by the Director of the Community Development Department. Prior to opening for business, the petitioner must receive all applicable approvals and permits related to commercial occupancy. The petitioner shall record an acknowledgement of this approval with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, moved by Janine, seconded by Victor, to approve 2308 VU-08, subject to the 7 recommended conditions in the staff report. Jane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Hatfield?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and I'll make a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition.
I'll second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Janine, to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of 2308 VU-08. All those in favor, voice vote, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Petition's approved. Thank you. You want to get, yeah. Let the record show Jeff Bowler will be rejoining the festivities.
I'm back.
Did you bring us some food?
Next item for our consideration, 2308 VS18 15373 Holcomb Drive, Michael Scholes seeking a variance of development standard to encroach 8 feet into the 20-foot minimum rear yard setback on a .17 acre lot in the Harmony subdivision, Harmony PUD, to accommodate a swimming pool and deck. Ryan is the planner on this petition.
Thank you, President, members of the board. For the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. The subject property is about 1.7 acres in size and is located at 15373 Holcomb Drive within the Harmony PUD district. The petitioner requests a variance of development standard to encroach 8 feet into the 20-foot minimum rear yard setback to accommodate the installation of a swimming pool and deck. This item does require a public hearing tonight, which has been properly noticed and advertised, and staff has received no comments related to the petition. The petitioner is here this evening. They are available to answer any questions, as am I, should you have any for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schultz?
Good evening, everyone. As Ryan shared,
One moment, sorry to interrupt. Would you just state your name and address for the public record,
Michael
please?
Schultz, 15373 Holcomb Drive.
Thank you.
As was shared, this request will encompass a 14 by 32 swimming pool with a retaining wall and fence.
Okay, and from the aerial, you're right on ditch, back up to ditch.
Correct.
All right. Well, I've got you there. I'll ask you what I've asked the other petitioners. There are 2 conditions that are recommended by the staff should the board vote to approve your petition. And the first is that it be developed in substantial compliance with your site plan. So the significance of that is that if anything would change for any reason through the process of construction, you need to work with staff to make sure that the approval is still effective. So just so you understand that.
I'm aligned.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and open up, well, any questions, anyone? I'm going to open a public hearing at 7:27. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this petition? Any electronic communication thus far?
Nope.
Okay, we'll get a minute or two. You can be his first customer. Any communication?
We have no electronic communications, and one thing I don't think we mentioned for the recording is that Jeff Bowler did return to the chambers.
Oh, I did.
About 2 minutes. Oh, you did say it?
Uh-huh.
I was listening.
Yeah. I actually remembered. I will close the public hearing at 7:28. Questions, comments, concerns from the board?
Just a quick one. According to the homeowners association, they need our approval before they approve it. So I assume you will go back. And
Correct. They give initial.
It's not part of our purview here, but
Correct.
they will need to approve this also.
It's the last stage before commencement of the project.
Okay, thank you.
If no one else has any comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion for this petition.
Well, since y'all read the long ones, I guess I get the short ones tonight. I'll make a motion to approve 2308-VS-18-18373 Holcomb Drive with the 2 recommended conditions: that the property be developed in substantial compliance with Site Plan Exhibit 3, and that the petitioner record an acknowledgement of this approval with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department.
I second.
Motion by Victor, seconded by Noel to approve 2308 VS 18 subject to the 2 recommended conditions in the staff report. Dane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Hatfield?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and I'll make a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of 2308 VS 18.
I'll second that.
Motion by myself, seconded by Mr. Bowler to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition. All those in favor, voice vote indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You are approved. Thank you. Final matter for consideration this evening is 2308 VS 19, 3265 West 193rd Street. David Franzman seeking a variance of development standard to encroach 12 feet into the 30-foot minimum side yard setback to accommodate an accessory building on 4.97 acres in an AGSF1 district. And Ryan is the planner again.
Thank you, President, members of the board. Again, for the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. This subject property is about 4.97 acres in size and is located at 3265 West 193rd Street within the AGSF1 zoning district. The petitioner requests a variance of development standard to encroach 12 feet into the 30-foot minimum side yard setback to accommodate the installation of an accessory building. This item does require a public hearing tonight, which has been properly noticed and advertised. Staff has received 1 comment related to the petition, and a public comment packet has been compiled and distributed to each member of the board. The petitioner is here this evening. They are available to answer any questions, as am I, should you have any for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Franzman? Step right up.
Turn it off. There we go. Green's on. I'm Dave Franzman. I live at, well, I'm building at 3265 West 193rd Street, a home and a pole barn. Ryan did a really good job. I'm encroaching 12 feet. It's my fault. I lost oversight on it. I'm to blame. As much as I'd like to blame other people, it's me. So then I reached out, I stopped the construction immediately and went to my neighbor that's impacted. And fortunately, I have a very good neighbor. He's very understanding. And I think you have a letter, right? And then I spoke to a few other neighbors that reached out, contacted me. The ones that are the closest, I actually have 3 neighbors. 4 if you count the farmland across the street. And actually, he dropped by the other day too, and he's happy, he's good. But the guy behind me, the guy to my left, that would be West. That's the letter you have. Mm-hmm. And then behind me, there's nothing on that lot right now. He'll be building soon. He approved. He gave me a verbal, as did another guy at the end of the 193rd and Mule Barn. So it's been positive from everybody that I've heard, but I can answer any questions you have.
So basically, you started construction and then discovered the issue.
Exactly.
The issue was brought to your attention.
Exactly.
Okay. And then I noticed on the site plan, it says where does it say something about the red, the handwritten stuff? If you go
On the very bottom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So essentially, if it was built as on the black box, it would be fine, but instead at the foundation.
No, it wouldn't be.
Okay, both locations are off. Okay, gotcha.
And that's not my fault, but I'm to blame. The buck stops with me.
Right, we get that.
So if you can't see that, but that number to the left says 24 feet. It's supposed to be 30.
Yeah.
So I penciled in that red to show that I'm actually not 24. I'm inside that. That's why I'm 10 to 14 feet from the property line. There's a fence in between the pole barn and the property line.
Okay.
You see that fence? Yeah.
So compliance probably would have been possible, it's just that you've already gotten this far.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, anything else?
No, just your planners do an awesome job. Ryan and Lauren they're very professional, prepared, and a very good representative of Westfield.
They're good.
You guys should know that.
Appreciate it.
That's good.
Appreciate you saying so.
No problem.
I'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:34. Do we have any electronic communication at this stage?
Nope, not at this time.
Okay, we'll give it another minute or so. Anything coming in?
Nope, nothing coming in.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and close public hearing at 7:36. And I do appreciate Mr. Ducate for putting his feelings in writing to us, his support in writing, because as the property owner that's most affected by it, that's good to hear any kind of communication from them. Anyone else have any questions, concerns, comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 2308-VS-19, 3265 West 193rd Street with the following recommended conditions. One, that the property be developed in substantial compliance with the site plan, Exhibit 3. And 2, that the petitioner record an acknowledgement of this approval with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office and return a copy of the recorded instrument to the Community Development Department.
Oh, second.
Motion by Mr. Bowler, seconded by Janine to
Leave me hanging.
approve 2308 VS 19, subject to the 2 recommended conditions in the staff report. Jane, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Ms. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Hatfield?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Before I deal with the findings, Dave, I didn't mention, I usually make sure that the petitioner is aware of those and has read those 2 conditions. In your case, it's already under development, so the substantial compliance thing isn't as much of an issue, but you do have the recording requirement as well. I'm aware. Great, thank you. I will make a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of 2308 VS 19.
Second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Ms. Fortier to adopt staff's findings of fact for the approval of this petition. All those in favor, voice vote, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You are approved. Thank you.
Keep building. What are you gonna do with it?
Pardon me?
What are you gonna do with it?
With what, the pole barn?
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed to tell you, I haven't decided yet.
Something.
But they told me, don't go small, go big, because you were great going small.
Sure.
So,
All right. Have fun with it.
but yeah, I'm gonna try. Thank you very much, I appreciate everybody's help.
Sure. And finally, we'll finish up with any reports, comments. Victor, Plan Commission Liaison.
Real quick, from our workshop meeting on 7/17, it was just one item, Claiborne Farms, Kimbollick Phase 2, discussion revolving around that, just the number of homes and making sure the property owners to the north are all satisfied. Looks like all good, just waiting for them to come back for a recommendation. And then last night, consent agenda item had Dollar Tree and Raising Cane's. Dollar Tree will be by the Option School, Raising Cane's taking over for Steak and Shake. And our one item of business was the Bonterra PUD Amendment 1 for a retail building on 32, that is east of Shady Nook. And that was it.
Thank you. Community Development Department.
We will have a meeting in September. There will be at least one item on the docket.
Very good.
2. There will be at least 2 items on
At
the
least 2. Well, only matters if there's one. That means we've got to have a meeting. We will be here. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, voice vote indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 7:40.
Where's Dollar Tree going?